listening and not using intellectuals were two crimes that these people of the fire, the people of Sayyid, Ashab Sayyid, the mistake they did, and they are like taking heed and they are regretting what they did. If they just had if they just had listened and just have used their intellectuals, then there wouldn't be the people of the fire, the people of Asai. That's what their regret is. And now there will be one thing Allah will say about them, and they are done with. And then the new section will start. So let's get to it. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ala Shafil Anbiya wal Mursaleen wa ala Ali wa sahbihi ajma'in. Thumma amma ba'd. Fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. So we already spoke about we took a good time to speak about this in the last ayah. However, we're going to take a different approach now, and we will include some things in this video as well about the section of the disbelievers, and then we'll move on to the new sections. So, the thing they said was "Lau kunna," had we only been. So it's a regret. So regrets don't just happen immediately or without anything. You regret when you had the mind to do it, you had the option, but you chose not to. So what my point is that these people are not like in absolute surprise or shock. Oh, what is this happening? Like, I don't deserve this. That's not what they say. They are regretting because something they knew was true, but they couldn't do it. According to them, the crime they did was they just didn't listen and they just didn't use their head. That's all they are having, that's all they're regretting. And if that is the case, then it's still not there. The time is still there. So if we are not taking heed, if we are not listening and we are not being intellectual, maybe this is a warning that we should be so. And we don't want to be Ashab Sa'id. May Allah never make any of us Ashab Sa'id. Ameen. Alright. So fa'tarafu bizambihim fasuhqal li ashabi sa'ir. So fa'tarafu, they will be confessing one after another bizambihim, their sins, their embarrassment. Zam is a special word. There are other words for sins, but here the word used is zam. So what is important here, like you can understand sin, but I will tell you what there is not in the translation. Embarrassment is an important part of this zam, because these are actually things like, when are you embarrassed? Shame, such a failure, these things. So these people actually are confessing their sins, but they are not like, I don't care, okay, do whatever you want. They're ashamed of what they did, and like they're confessing and they're ashamed. By the way, confessing, these people are no longer like they are no longer the loudmouth that they are here. So they are no longer the loudmouth like that they are when they are here. See, I put the sentence in the right order. Anyways, so that's not how it is. And these people are so irrelevant that there is only 3 words Allah will give them. Fasuhqal li ashabis sa'id. Fasuhqal li ashabis sa'id. Away with the people of the community. Allah doesn't say fasuhqal lazina kafaru. Fasuhqal lazina kafaru wa shayateen. No. Not worth mentioning. Just call them ashabis sa'id. So irrelevant. The word suhqal, like away, get lost, banned, something you don't like, get out of here, That's the really, and it's also a maf'ul mutlaq. How horribly, like suhqal li ashabi sa'id. That would be something like how you look at these people, failures, banned, literally banned, restricted. Away, get lost. Fasuhqa li ashabi sa'ir. That's how Allah ends this section. This was in section B, and I will give you a little review of this section before we go to the new section. This started from ayah number 5, where Allah started talking about the Sama, how He beautified it, and then He started speaking about the Azab, which was not mentioned until this ayah, and He started by noting the Shayateen. Okay, and then as the disbelievers were thinking, He's talking about the Shayateen, not us. Allah addresses them, but He doesn't call them Ashabis Sa'ir yet. He tells them about Azabu Jahannam, and that's an evil destination. And then when they're brought in near it, He gives a detailed elaboration how they will be punished. Alright? And then when they see all the reality, they start confessing. And when they confess, they were told, before they confess actually, they are asked, didn't any warning come to you? First, they give an answer to it, and while they are giving the answer, they're like, yeah, whatever. And they are thrown, and when they are thrown, they are saying, oh man, if I only listened and I only thought, I would not have been Ashab Sa'ir. And as Allah gives this, now these people are speaking, right? These people are speaking. Waqalu, they say. Now Allah is going to close that section and say, Fasuh fa'atarafu bizambim. So they will be confessing with their sins. Fasuh kalli ashabi sa'ir. Away with them. Get away with it. Done deal. And now the interesting thing about this section, this is not something official, so you're free to disagree, but it is clearly evident in the ayah. This is a section where, Allah, what did Allah say? Ahsanu amala, who is better in deeds. Now we saw who are worse in deeds. Now we are going to see the opposite side, who are better in deeds, and there is only one ayah dedicated to them. However, this ayah is enough. Inna lazina yakshawna rabbahum bil ghaibi lahum maghfiratun wa ajrun kabir. So first note that this ayah starts with inna. Certainly Allah didn't use this inna for the disbelievers. I'll remind you, because when Allah was talking about them, this just came as walillazina kafaru, and for those who believe. That's when Allah used, Allah didn't use inna. But here, Allah doesn't want the believers to have any doubt that these people, inna, so there is a focus. Alright, attention. Allah said inna. Inna allazina yakshawna. Interesting. Those who fear Rabbahum. Allah didn't say yu'minuna bi Rabbihim. Allah didn't say, ya'budu bi Rabbihim. There are so many things Allah could have said. The word Allah chose, just one word. Yakshawna. Now when you talk about fear, this means these people, they actually feared Allah. And by the way, I should tell you, Allah didn't say, well, innal lazina yu'minuna, like I told you, which is actually the opposite of walil lazina kafaru. That's how that section started. So you expect this section to start with walil lazina yu'minu, the opposite of kafaru. No. This is not the opposite. This is something else. So why replaced with fear? What is the special thing about fear? Well, it seems there is the word bil ghaib, and there is a confusion between the mufassirun and how this can imply. So most of them agree with two things. First is yakshawna rabbahum bil ghaibi, believe, fear of their Lord who is unseen. These believers see Jahannam, and then they're like, all of their senses are there, they start confessing, all of these things happen. When? Iza ulku fiha, right? When they're thrown into it, when they see the reality. So now these people, Allah defines them as they couldn't see, yet they were afraid. Ghaib, the word ghaib is really something to note over here, because this is something where everything changes. I was actually having an argument with someone who's like, we don't see jinns, so how come your Quran claim is scientific if there's no jinns? And I gave him so many awesome things, like I took help, of course, from the notes of Dr. Zakir Naik and all these scientific things, and I show him all these things, and all he thinks about is this jinns. Why? because the other things he cannot speak against because they're clear. But he's only focused on this jinn because he knows this is of the unseen and we cannot say anything, at least now. So these people actually believe in the unseen, that their Rabb who's the unseen. And the another thing, of course, this is, you will find this in the translation, is when they fear their Lord in an unseen manner. So you won't know that they're fearing their Lord. They don't go to the public and say, Ashhadu Allah ilaha illallah, and for that, fa inni minal muslimin. Not that. I fear Allah and that's why I am among the Muslims, and I am not you kuffar or you disbelievers, you don't fear. No. Simply these people are not concerned about the surroundings. It's a very profound thing, because this tells you how irrelevant public acknowledgement is. I make videos, somebody may say, you kuffar, or you deviant, you don't have any good recitation, or you don't know yet, or you're too young, whatever. They can have all these things, and now I have the option to like, oh really, that's what you think, I should not give dawah anymore. No. Whose approval do I need? Whose satisfaction is I am concerned of? Allah and every one of us. So this is like very, very crucial, because sometimes we get depressed when people give us feedback. You think you're a good Muslim? You don't even walk straight. You don't even do this. You didn't even do the wedding for 3 days. You didn't even bring chai for your ma or something, Like, my mother is okay, but this guy has a problem. My mother doesn't have any problem with me, but this guy has a problem with me. And then I'm like, oh, really? And sometimes really religious people are we think these people are like really righteous, and then they say, do you really think your work means anything? Your heart is impure, and then we get depressed. No. As far as Allah is concerned, yakshawna rabbahum bil ghaibi, fear of Him in the unseen. Nobody has to know that. Only Allah has to know that. And we'll see more as the ayats go forward. And the other part, I told you that believe in Allah who is in the unseen. So we have faith in Allah, but we don't see Him. Yet we have faith. So that's another part. Lahum makfiratun. Why makfirah? Why are we talking about forgiveness here? I thought we were talking about reverse. Because there were some serious ayats about Jahannam. And when Allah said that those people will say, if we only listened and if we only been intelligent or used our akal, some of us are thinking, wait, I don't listen sometimes, I didn't use my akal sometimes, that means I am among them too? No. For them there is forgiveness, and this fear that you have, for you there is forgiveness, wajrun kabir, and great reward. I'll tell you two interesting things. First is, why did I put the small ayah in this section today? Because we were supposed to be afraid of those horrible descriptions, and now Allah says, for those who fear, for them is forgiveness and great reward. So fear is motivated, inspired of Allah, but of course when you fear Allah, you will also fear His punishment, right? Now maghfirah, Allah didn't say lahum ghafur or lahum ghafara, normal word. No, He didn't use the masdar, He said maghfirah. So the more letters, of course, the more emphasis in the meaning. So complete forgiveness. And ghafara, I told you that it means covering the sins. So these people are not like so innocent. Of course we all do sins, we all make mistakes, we're human beings, and for them there is maghfirah. Like not just normal ghafara, there's maghfirah, very like vast forgiveness, and ajrun kabir, great compensation or reward. Now one thing is kabir. You remember last time we saw this word, in antum illa fi dalalin kabir. The disbelievers say, ma nazzalallahu min shay'in in antum illa fi dalalin kabir. No, Allah didn't release send down anything, and you are in great error, dalalin kabir. And now Allah uses the same word And for those who fear their Lord in the unseen or their unseen Lord, for them there is forgiveness and great reward. Great error, great reward. Those who uh, told us that we are in great error, they are now in Sayyid, Ashab Sayyid, and those who were like those warners or maybe they feared Allah, they are now getting Ajrun Kabir. You know, the word Kabir is there for a reason. Allah could have used other words. Wajrun, Kasir, more reward, Aksar, enough reward. Like, there are other words he could have used. No, this Kabir. It reminds you of something we heard just 2 ayats ago or 3 ayats ago, ayah number 9. So, in the world, these people were hearing that they are in error. And actually, as far as Allah is concerned, no, they are not in error. For them, there is great reward. So it's very important that we understand who matters and who doesn't matter. You know, people can tell you all of these things. You are not, like, you don't have enough iman, you don't have this, you don't have that, your prayer is not good. We will take suggestions. It doesn't mean I ignore every suggestion. But I cannot just judge myself based on what people say. We shouldn't. And that's evident here. Because these people could have gone into depression. They say we are in Jalalyn, Kabira, life is done. No, as far as Allah is concerned, Maghfirat wa ajrun kabir. Great reward. So, that word choice is giving us a connection to make and also giving us a profound lesson. Like, there is a connection between these word choices, these ayats. They're so close. So, we have to pay attention. Anyway, this was section C. Section B was about those who are not ahsanu amala. These are those who are ahsanu amala, and the part of their amal is that they feared Allah. So they had the options of doing the sins, but it seems they listened and they used their intellectual. Why? Because they feared Allah. That's the difference. And we're going to move to a new section. And until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.